What is up, everybody? Keith Mitchell here from the Outer Haven, and today I'm back with yet another interesting topic that I'm pretty sure if you're a gamer, you're going to want to hear this. So over the weekend, I got wind of an article from Video Game Chronicles talking about a post from Xbox, Blizzard, Xbox, no longer part of the company, Mike Ybarra, talking about tipping companies if we enjoyed playing their games, which is an actual interesting idea if you think about it. It's not something that I would ever think about, but seeing him come out and say this raised a lot of eyebrows, had me thinking a lot over the weekend, and I just wanted to talk about that. In fact, it probably makes more sense if I read you the actual post. So, from Mike, I thought about this idea for a while as a player since I've been diving into single-player games lately. When I beat a game, there are some that just leave me in awe of how amazing the experience was. At the end of the game, I often thought, I wish I can give these guys an extra $10 or $20 because it was worth more than my initial $70, and they didn't try to nickel and dime me every second. Games like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, etc. I know $70 is already a lot, but as an option at the end of the game, I wish I had at times. Some games are that special. I know most will dislike this idea. By the way, I realize we're tired of tipping and everything else, but I view this different from a pressure to tip type scenario many face and give feedback on. Now, I do question that thought, not because of the situation or the scenario, but from where Mike exactly is coming from. Now, Mike might be a gamer. You know, he formerly was a president of Blizzard and was part of Microsoft and has a different mentality than a lot of gamers do. And I'm not saying that Mike's not a gamer. That's totally not what I'm saying. But when I buy a $60 or $70 game and I beat the game and I think the game is amazing, I've never once thought that, hey, maybe I should go back and tip the company another $10 or $20 or $30 because I thought the adventure was amazing. I always figure that, hey, if I'm giving you $70, I'm giving you what it's worth. I have a problem if they tell me or give me the option to tip the company for a game because, let's be honest, if we tip a company, the money is going to go to the publisher's management and the C-suites and the CEOs and everybody up there. It's going to go to everybody but the people who actually deserve it. The developers, the artists, the musical people, everybody who makes the game so amazing, the people who the money should actually go to won't get the money. Now, if you're not aware of how this actually works, people, developers get paid a certain amount of money to work on a game, and that is literally it. So if a game goes on to sell a bazillion copies and his company makes a gazillion dollars, the developers get nothing. Unless there's some kind of contract or agreement in place that based on the number of copies the game is sold, that the developers will get a cut out of that. But usually they don't, which is the problem I have with the gaming industry. It's a quagmire because if these companies actually paid developers more money or gave them some kind of royalty thing that if a game sells a certain amount of copies that the developers will get more money because in the end, they're the reason why the game does so amazing, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But when you come back and say, hey, maybe we should tip these companies, that's kind of a problem because it comes from a certain mindset and I don't like that idea. I know a lot of people will say they will. Now, when I said I didn't have a problem with it, it's because I'm thinking of something different. Now, this is where I said don't yell at me or boo at me because I'm going somewhere with this. So, indie developers, indie companies, if an indie developer, these 1-man, 2-man, 3-man companies come out and go, hey, we spent years working on this game. It's finally finished. It's a fantastic adventure. I told my friends that I buy multiple copies of it because I want to support the company. Hell yes, I would not have a problem going to the developer and going, here's $50, here's $20 on top of what I paid for the game because I want to support these indie developers because let's be honest, indie development has been for the last decade has been the lifeblood of the gaming industry. We're not talking about these AA games and these AAA games and these quad AAA games that are making the rounds. And some are great. I'm not going to say that some aren't bad. Some are fantastic games. But we have so many other games from indie developers that blow our minds. And we're going, wow, how did they make this possible? So if I had the option to tip these guys an extra $10 or $20, yes, I would do that in a heartbeat. No questions, no hesitation. Here's my money. Take it. Thank you for an awesome experience. Thank you for not nickel and diming me. Thank you for putting in this hard work and effort because they deserve it. But going back and looking at this, my main frustration, and I'm going off topic here for a little bit, is how the gaming industry has been treating its developers. We've seen scores of companies laying off developers back to back to back to back, and it has been terrible. We've even seen some developers that I actually follow on Twitter get fired from one job, get hired at another job, then a couple months down the road, or maybe after they finish working on a game, they get laid off again. I mean, the gaming industry has been in flux for a very long time. And for someone to suggest that maybe we should tip these companies that give us these amazing games, it's just the wrong idea. Now, if he would say, hey, maybe we should find out a way how we can actually tip the developers instead of the company, then yeah, I'd be 100% on that. Like if we could give, like if they had a Ko-fi for developers or something that we can send tips to developers so we know that they're getting the money and not publishers, then yeah, 100% I would be on board with that and I wouldn't have any problem. But we all know that that's just not going to happen, which is part of my issue. On top of that, again, we're paying $60, $70, sometimes $80 for games, and we've got greedy-ass publishers talking about that they want to raise the amount that we're paying for games even more. Most of us can't afford $70 games as it is, and you want to raise it to $80, maybe $90, and you've got the audacity to say that maybe we should tip these companies who are, as you said, not nickel and diming us with microtransactions, which they're not, but they're taking advantage of the fact that we are willing to pay you pretty much any amount of money as it seems right now to get access to your game. Not to mention that we've got inflation, we've got people losing their job left and right, and it's just unthinkable. It's just not something that I would want to hear from somebody who has been a big part of the game industry go, oh, maybe we should tip these companies. It just sounds like somebody who was at top who still thinks about the greed. That's how I feel. I'm sorry. I don't know Mike personally, but that comment just makes me feel like, hey, this is from somebody from the top who's used to figuring out how to get more money from people, and this is just another idea. I hope to God that this doesn't happen where companies go, oh, hey, you beaten our game. Fantastic. You enjoyed your 20, 30 hours playing this game. How about you give us a tip? That would be disastrous. Man, I can't even think about that. But that said, folks, I am done. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, leave a comment below. I would love to know what you think about this entire mess. Like the video and subscribe to our channel so you know when new content is coming from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.